Hello everyone. Welcome to my program Inspiring Bo. I hope you are enjoying my videos, and if there is something specific that you would like to see, please let me know. Today I am in Paris, Ontario with my friend Patty Randhawa. Welcome Patty to my program. And I really wanted to interview Patty because she's an inspiration to me. You know what, I really like talking to her because she puts everything into a very positive perspective, and she tells me that she really works on that a lot, and I really admire her for that because, you know, a lot of us we easily go down the garden path of negativity and pull ourselves down for nothing. But I admire her because she says she works very hard at keeping her mind positive. So Patty, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
How do you keep yourself positive?
First of all, thank you so much, for speaking so kindly and highly about me. It's just always continuous effort, and work in progress.
Yes.
How do I keep myself so positive? It's something that, I have an attitude that, I want to invest into myself, my well-being. And once I have that intention, then I try to spend time with like-minded people, or I try to invest into those resources that are going to actually be uplifting to me in general, for my overall experience, of how I live my life.
Was there anything in particular that inspired you to, focus on the positivity? Because a lot of us aren't conscious of the fact that we're being negative, and that it leads us to negative experiences, because the more you focus on negative things, the more they manifest. In the same way, the more you focus on the positive things happen. For example, we were walking down this trail and I wanted to interview you, and my thought was, if I could find a picnic table, that would be perfect. And here I am with my stand on a picnic table, and we're on this path, a beautiful path with a dam in the background. I wish I could have shown you guys that dam, but my picnic table isn't high enough. However, we are in the open and there's a beautiful sky out there. So, like Patty was saying, if you put an intention out there, it happens.
Yes. Whatever you throw to the universe, right, that's the energy you attract.
Right.
Be it people, be it manifesting, amongst all these beautiful beings around us, right? So it's all about the energy. What's the energy that you build around you? Mm-hmm. It's very important.
So I think with both of our focus on, what we wanted to do on our trip, I'd say everything has manifested for us, really. Like,
definitely it did.
Even the restaurant that we wanted to go to last evening, yes. I was told when I walked into that restaurant that we had to sit inside. We couldn't sit on the patio because it was already filled. But lo and behold, with our persistence and our desire to have a table on a patio overlooking the river, we got it.
We got it. Yes, we got it. Because we never gave up. And that's also important, the way we live, is that when you have a desire for something, you want to achieve something, you put all your passion into it.
Right.
And even if you don't get it the first time, there's no reason to give up on it. Opportunities will knock at your door, and so just keep your focus.
So, so what do we do if we're not aware that we're on the path of negativity? How do you stop yourself?
Exactly. First of all, just see the difference in how you feel when you're negative. The difference, the vibrational energy, there's just like day and night of difference. So that's why, how we feel, everything starts from a thought. And, if you can be aware consciously about your thoughts, what kind of thoughts you're putting in your mind, before they become or manifest into certain emotions, then that's the tone of the day. So you have to just catch them right at the blood. Mm-hmm. And say, why am I feeling that way? That's really negative. However, I know that our mind is mind's job, to keep working and churning on our thoughts, right? But as a soul, as this light unconscious within us, we have power over our mind. So mind is just a tool that we are blessed with, as human beings, to be an intelligent person and live our life, to the fullest, and experience this life, in this energy, right? So I would just say that if you can catch that, try to work on that and replace that with another thought that will actually bring you back on the path of more positivity. And it's not going to happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to actually paint a rosy picture here, that this is easy peasy.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that you have to have an intention and continue to work on it. But this is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you before you speak a negative word or negative thing, think, stop yourself, and then replace it with a thought that is going to make you feel good about it, no matter what the situation is. Because in life, you would always never get everything that you want. But if you can just, have a twist around it and say, you know what, be grateful for what you have. And attitude of gratitude brings you back on the path where all of a sudden, you feel energized, you feel positive, and be thankful for what you have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have so many reasons to be happy, to be joyful. Yeah.
So, one of the programs that, ideas that I have for my program, my YouTube channel, is that I want to ask people, interview people about what life has taught them. Because I think that we all need to have support, especially in this world situation that we're in.
Yes.
We're in a very challenging situation. So, talking about this world situation and, being isolated, what lessons have you learned from our world situation?
That's a really very important question, of this interview, because we all have lived through this phase of our life, that we never imagined. Everything will be shut down and we are on our own and we are not able to interact with our friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
What I really learned from it, is that we are complete human being, the whole person, on our own. To me, it's really important to know this, is that we should not be dependent on certain things or certain relationships to make us complete. I feel like that once we are complete from within, we actually share the great values about what we can give in that relationship to the other person, and how to enrich their lives. So you're already complete. Now you're not dependent on the other person. That's really important, and that's what I actually learned, from in this phase of lockdown, because we were really entirely reliant on ourselves for our emotions, for how we deal with our feelings, and so many things were just like cut off from our life, So our only life jacket was really, how strong are we from within? And so we were able to look ourselves in the mirror, and we were introduced to our true self in those present times. And that's what I learned from the pandemic.
That basically we had to rely on ourselves way more than ever before.
Yes. And you have everything right is within you.
Yes.
You just have to look for it. It's already in there. Yeah.
And the other thing I learned was that I just have to focus on the present, on my day-to-day activities, because I couldn't predict what was going to happen tomorrow, and we still can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow.
No, not at all. Not in the next moment.
Right. That's
Yeah.
So both of us actually are into spirituality and meditation, and so we became more aware of the fact that we are conscious beings and we're physical bodies.
Yeah.
Just here to experience. Our souls are here to experience a bodily experience, really.
Yes.
Even yesterday we were, what did yesterday's experience teach you? Because you know what, we went to kayaking on the Grand River here, and I tell you, we got into situations, especially one where we were stuck on the rocks.
Yes.
And we must have been there for about half an hour. We tried with all our might, push. And no matter which direction we turned to, we were stuck on the rocks. We couldn't move.
Yes.
What was going on in your mind at that time?
first of all, I always we always have a choice.
Yes.
I could either be scared and try to give up and be negative, and then that energy is not going to manifest into anything great. I would feel down, and I would avoid myself of all the beauty that I can experience around me, because this is an amazing place, beautiful river, and I felt I have gone to a beautiful destination actually, with so much beauty around. So I come back to your question, is that we just don't know what we are capable of until we try it out in those situations that are challenging and pressing in our life. We are much stronger than who we think we are. And that's what actually, got us to the finish point. Is that, we have all the grit and the power to try to push ourselves and get up from that patchy, rocky place, and get back on the smoother, part of the river. So really, it was my first time kayaking. We did really so well, and plus I was thirsty because my water was all gone. The thing is that
And you
I
were
put it out
starving.
in the universe, because I was I need water. I'm really thirsty, and it's a 4-hour trip, right? And without water, you can be dehydrated. I was hungry, and so what did I do? I just saw a bunch of kayakers around me, and I just started talking out loud, in the air, I'm so thirsty, I need to eat something. And guess what? Because I asked for it, and we had a few gals who were so friendly and angels. They came to me and they helped me with that. So one passed me water, and the other passed me her granola bar. So the thing is that we just have to trust our fellow beings, and it's a connection that we need to manifest and share with the lovely beings around us. And that's when we instill more positivity into our lives, because it's a community. If you're happier, people around us are happier, we are going to be happy as well, because this is what this our universe is about. It's not dependent on just one being, it's about this whole picture.
What was so beautiful about the fact, for kayaking experience yesterday was it was supposed to take us about 2.5 hours. We ended up on it for 4 hours because in the first situation we were stuck for about half an hour. Finally, somebody came and pushed our kayak.
Yes.
That helped us to get over the stuck part. But then after that, we still kept on getting stuck in a few places. But we pushed with all our might. And I have to say, what really helped was your attitude. I mean, I have some experience in kayaking. I'm not that much of an expert, but I have gone kayaking before. And I relied on you because you drive a car. But I think in the moment, I think what got us through was your calmness. You stayed calm and positive. And I don't think any of us uttered any negative things.
No,
Neither did we say that we're doomed. We never
things.
talked about anything about doom and gloom, or we're stuck here forever and let's go back. And we just kept pushing and pushing and
But that
pushing.
has the power over our mind. We would not let that happen, right? And that's why I'm so proud of you as well, that we just stayed positive and we just kept, paddling. And it's just we had so much energy.
Yes.
Even at the end of the trip, we missed the exit point, and we came back again. But we were that's all right. It's okay.
Yes, we had to go back and forth to find the spot where we had to park our canoes and give them to the owner.
Yes.
And, we got back in time to take our shuttle, and everything just worked out perfectly.
Exactly.
So, the power of thinking positive is, very powerful, and it's something that you remind me of the fact that is like a consistent work.
Yes, definitely. I remember that when we were really struck bad, at one point, I paused.
Yes.
I just looked around. I'm we came for a beautiful experience. I paused. I didn't let this rush of emotions take over me. And I'm no, you're gonna make it happen. So sometimes in life, Bo, it's really important to actually give yourself a pause, because it gives you to, soak in the emotions, give it some time to melt away, and then move yourself up again. Because it's very easy to get carried away with, this flood of emotions, and then, next thing you know, you've gone too far out. So those pauses are
That
really
calmness.
important. The calmness, exactly, because it brings you down.
Yes.
Like I heard from someone a long time ago that if you are going through some very draining emotions, pause, maybe just stop everything and just count slowly 1 to 10. So just give yourself a break and breathe, and you will see a difference, because it gave you a pause.
See, when I went in the kayak and I knew that you couldn't swim and you
Yes.
didn't kayak before,
I couldn't.
I came in with an attitude that I would not have to worry about you.
Yeah, with that attitude, yes. I actually even took my life jacket off, which I don't recommend to anyone, never do that. But I was so freaking hot at that time, I even took my life jacket out. But I did put it next to my feet in case if I need it, I can just go and grab it.
Yeah, I think that also like my thoughts that I don't have to worry about you, I think really helped, plus your positivity. And it also reminds me of a situation that I had last year where I went kayaking with a friend of mine who also was in the same situation and never kayaked, never swam. And we found ourselves, we weren't in a rocky place, but we were in Lake Ontario and we were going around circles. And I think his positivity is what kept me calm. He just was calm, and I really admire that for somebody, again, who had never been on a kayak or swam.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly remembered, oh yeah, this is the way to change directions. And we got back to shore safely.
Yes.
So those are the experiences we had in the last couple of days. But what about like your in your life? Like, I mean, I know it's hard to summarize your whole life in like 10, 15 minutes or even 5 minutes. That's even more challenging. But overall, like, what stands out for you in your life, like in terms of life lessons? For example, what would you say to somebody who is lost, doesn't know what the purpose of life is? What have you learned about that? Or, they get up in the morning and they said, what's the point of getting up anyways? Like, what kind of advice would you give to people?
Well, actually, I could think of 2 things right now, right away. Even though, this is a very open-end question, which can take really long for me to answer. But right now, I would like to maybe share 2 things, about it. First one is I like to practice yoga. Because yoga actually is more than just, stretches and different postures, It actually connects my mind, body, and soul. So I highly recommend, on this journey of life, right? Wherever, it helps you connect to you better and brings you closer to yourself, because sometimes we don't even know ourselves that well. We are so consumed with everything around us, with people around us, that we don't really give ourselves enough time. What brings you home, which is your light, your soul. So I practice yoga religiously, and it really gives me a great tone for the rest of my day, and calms me down. And I also do Om chanting at the very end, which is another source of vibrational energy that we create within our body. So anything that works for you, it could be like going on the trail, it could be meditating, of course, it could be gardening, anything that brings you back to your soul, where your mind slows down. The whole idea is to slow down your mind, because the mind, its work is actually to keep churning the thoughts, right? But it doesn't have to work 24/7. And we need to learn different ways where we can slow our thoughts. Once we slow our thoughts, actually it gives us so much energy, because mind consumes a lot of energy too. And sometimes these thoughts could be mindless, they could be needless. So we just have to make sure we don't want to keep ourselves going in cycles. That's one thing. And the other thing is kindness, compassion. Try to do this, bring this in your life, even on a smaller level. Even like, you do it in baby steps. When you do good for others, for the world, for our environment, anything where you give back selflessly, brings you again closer to yourself, because it gives you unconditional joy. You're not out there, asking, you're actually giving. And that's really important in life, to get that unconditional joy.
So what they say, that what you give out comes back to you. You hear that, and it's true. Like a lot of the spiritual, the religions and spiritual paths talk a lot about the importance of selfless service, which is giving to others, because in giving to others, you also develop humility,
Yes.
and you learn about life through giving to others.
And also you appreciate that you have so much in your life. You have this sense of gratitude, and you feel that, if I can make a difference and give it to others, you smile on their face. The difference, and doesn't have to be just people. It could be animals. It could be the environment. Anything where you're making a difference, and we all can make a difference in our own way. It doesn't have to be very big. It could be small, in small ways. But that joy that you get inside you, without any ego, any pride, is just true humbleness.
So any small thing that we do, whether it's to pick a piece of garbage on the trail, whether we're smile at somebody or give somebody a compliment, you're giving, and it affects the world. You're sending this positive energy into the environment. It's like throwing a rock into a lake and seeing the waves going out. In the same way, when we do something really positive for others, this energy goes out to the world and kind of like sends this positive vibration throughout this universe. And the more we do this, the more love we are going to create in this world.
Because we get away from that me attitude, because when we go and focus on the me attitude, it's never going to be enough. And I always say, the hand gesture, of asking and giving. Giving more powerful than asking, because we have so much we can go out.
Yeah, I find that's one of the things on my spiritual meditation path. One of the focuses that our spiritual teacher focuses on is that we need to do selfless service for others.
Yes.
To develop humility. And also it gives you happiness unexpectedly that you wouldn't think about.
Exactly.
And
it's priceless. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yes.
Because you really want to do good for others. So when we give out good to others, trust me, universe, that's the energy we throw out to the universe, and you get it tenfold back without even expecting it. And all of a sudden, because you want to do good for others, you start seeing people want to come out and reach out to you and do good for you, or pray for you, or give out the blessings, which is priceless again.
So what do you do when somebody around you is very negative? How do you deal with that?
First of all, it's important to accept that you could share your experiences. You could share some ideas, how to tackle the negativity. But at the end of the day, it's up to the person to work on himself or herself. Because if in the journey of the life right now, they're not ready for it, they don't have the awareness of it, no matter how hard you try, it's not going to change that person. So I feel like, you can do your part and then leave it at that. Yes.
One of the things that I usually say, and my experience is, I know it's very important, as we're talking about the importance of intentions, having positive intentions and thinking positive. At the same time, I have to say it's okay for people to experience their emotions and their feelings, because we can't suppress them. So we need to experience our negative emotions and feelings as well.
Oh, yes.
But then we need to learn to accept them, and at the same time learn to keep walking.
Definitely. Because we are emotional beings. We will go through all kinds of emotions, right? Negative, positive, not so great, and low emotions, high emotions, right? It's important, first of all, to express that.
Yes.
But it's also very important not to stay in that phase for too long, and don't make your home there,
right,
so to speak. Because it's important, we're going to go through that. That's why I said I'm not going to paint a rosy picture, because we have sometimes different phases of our life,
right. Yes.
And people go through different challenges in their life, or they lose their loved one, and it's important to accept them, embrace them, and also feel that it's natural to go through that journey as well. However, also seek help. If you feel this is something that's not serving you, you have to be open to seek help, so that you can get out of it eventually and not stay in that place for too long.
Yes, I totally agree with that. As a mental health, having worked as a mental health nurse, it's very, very important to reach out for help, whether it's a professional or whether it's a friend. Never be embarrassed about what you're going through, and always seek help if you need that. And if you can't seek like help from somebody, let yourself cry, write down your emotions, whether it's like, writing poetry or a journal or writing a story. It's good to like let it all hang out for a while, and then learn to start walking again.
Exactly. And sometimes, like we go through our life, it's just like clouds. I always like use that example, So these clouds, they never stay in one spot.
Right.
Eventually they move. And then all of a sudden, you get a clear blue sky. So we always have to work and manifest, that kind of experience in our life. Because anything you do, if it's not giving you joy, it's depriving you of all the happiness in life. You won't be able to sustain that kind of lifestyle for too long, because you're not a happy human being. And if you're not happy, you're not able to, share that, or you're not able to, bring other loved ones together to you and make your life fulfilling, because all of a sudden nobody would want to be part of that energy. Because if you just imagine, if you're a positive person and somebody comes and just continuously drains your energy, right? After a while, you probably be like, it's too difficult for me. And so that way, you won't be able to sustain a great social life. Like you have a lack of sleep or lack of energy, nothing is going to serve you as a whole human being. So this is, for your own sake, for the love of your own soul, that you're going to have to reach out for help. So that you can have a complete life, whatever that life definition of that life is for you, but something that actually gives you a smile in the morning and makes you look forward to your day. That's really important.
One of the things that I have found that has helped me a lot is I'm a poet. I discovered over the years that I'm a poet.
Yes,
and so I write poetry, and I find that really helps me a lot because I express what's in my heart. Like, I'm the type of person, I can't write a poem unless it comes out of me, like just comes out of me naturally. So I can write a poem in 5 minutes because all my emotions, my thoughts, they're expressed in that poem, how I feel. And that's how I that's one of the strategies that I use to deal with my emotions. And the other one is I meditate every single day, and I work out hard. I've been worked out my whole life, because it releases a lot of emotions. Like, say if I'm really stressed out, and if I go for a swim and I'm really stressed out, I swim very vigorously because my stress just goes into that water. So we all have strategies that we use. And the other thing that I have noticed, like, it's really interesting. I find as soon as I vacuum my apartment, there's this positive energy that comes into my apartment. I think, wow, this feels so good, and all I did was vacuum my apartment. And it's just amazing because we're still
clean, and that's what now all of a sudden you have this very different vibration, very different energy around you. Yes, so that makes you feel great, right? That you have first done something to make it look great around you, and secondly, clutter free. Because sometimes when we have too much clutter in our mind, it also ends up reflecting around our environment. So as soon as we start cleaning up, it's almost like a psychology, in our mind, we also start to feel relieved and less clouded thoughts. It really helps, actually. That way.
I find it amazing that this positive energy kind of descends into my place when I start cleaning it up and organizing it. So it just goes to show that every positive thing that we do, whether to help our environment or help ourselves, is again like radiated out into the environment.
Anything, any like, for example, when I go and water my garden, so just little things that we do, and seeing our flowers, like they turn into such beautiful, they blossom into colorful, garden around us. That alone is like, I nurtured these plants right from the beginning, and now I get to enjoy them, and that's like how I create a beautiful environment around me, right? So every little positive thing counts at the end of the day. Every little, no positive thing is too small not to count.
Yes, and I'm a reminder of my mother. Like, she would always sit down on her chair and she would crochet or embroidery or knit, and she always told me that this always helps. And I had read someplace that doing something with your hands is very, very therapeutic, whether it's cooking or knitting or crocheting. And my mother was a great role model about that. I mean, she was always calm and peaceful because she had faith, she prayed, she cooked, she had children she took care of. And then she always had that habit every single evening to knit, crochet, or embroidery.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so therapeutic, right? Like doing something and seeing it, you're making something out of it, out
Yes.
of just a thread, right? So that is so therapeutic and fulfilling as well, right? So that's amazing. Even my mom does that too, and all of a sudden, she creates this beautiful crochet into this table top cover. I'm like, how did you do that, right? It's just a work of art. Actually, Bo, I was thinking of this quote that I read. We were at this cafe this morning, and I was reading this quote, which was very positive in a sense. It said that there are no strangers in the world. They are only friends that you haven't met yet.
Oh, that's nice.
So I feel like, it's so positive, right? It's like, it all depends on what we put into the universe, on how we think. Yes.
So to summarize, can you it's hard to put one's life in a 20-minute, 30-minute interview.
Yes.
But are there say 3 lessons that have stood out for you to summarize our interview?
Just 3 lessons, right? Yeah. I'm gonna put some serious thought into it, so that I can come up with even though I know in our life we have so many lessons, that makes us who we are today. One of them is learn to forgive. Because when you forgive, you actually not only forgive the other person, you are letting go of the tension, the hard emotions inside you, and you're forgiving yourself as well. Second is that your thoughts, your mind is not you. It's just an expression of how you feel about your life, about yourself, and project that out to the world. We are way much more bigger than our mind. And if you can connect to that inner soul, the energy, the consciousness, Atma, that actually oversees your mind. That is like an example of something I want to share with you, and maybe it will give your audience, more food for thought. Is that I picked this story from one of my spiritual gurus, and he said that there were 2 birds in a tree. The bird at the bottom is busy feeding her babies and taking care of the nest, and taking care of the food and all that stuff, for her babies. Then there's another bird who was on top of this bird, and this bird is just like overseeing everything. She's not doing anything at all. So there are 2 birds in the tree. Now I would like to help you relate those birds to us. The bird who's really, really busy at the bottom, taking care of the family, taking care of everything, the ins and outs of the day and everything, that's our mind. And sometimes we get so consumed in it, we forget we have a life. And then the bird on the top is our soul, who's overseeing everything. It's our consciousness, it's our light. So it's really important, that yes, you live your life, fulfill your responsibilities, but never get so consumed in everything, then you forget who you are. What's your true belonging? What do you want to create in this life? So one day, when it's time for us to say goodbye, we can look back and say, to ourselves, we lived a good life. So that to me is the easiest way to connect, that the soul in here, whatever you do in your life, try to have a better connection to that. And that will always guide you to the right path in life. So that's 2 points. And actually, because I know you said 3 points, right? The third one is actually love unconditionally. So whoever you have that special person in your life, or special relations in your life, or your family, whoever you're close to, right? Love unconditionally. When you give up on expectations and you just focus that I do this for the person because I love that person. That's like my pet Simba, without any give and take kind of deal. You give because you want to give, and that gives you complete happiness. You focus on that kind of energy in your relationships. that will actually make you a very complete person overall, because you're not yearning to have something back. So love unconditionally without any expectations. That will be my third.
Well, I said 3, but if you have anything more to add.
Well, we will leave it at 3, and probably in our next round of interview,
Right.
I can definitely share more. Or this interview is going to get really long. But these are the 3 that really like come to my mind.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Patty, I really want to thank you for joining me in this interview. I also want to thank you for, this trip to Paris. It's been really wonderful for
Thank
me,
you.
and to have your company. And it's been a beautiful weekend, actually. And this interview has been great too. And I want to thank you for doing it. And I want to thank all my viewers for joining me. And if anyone would love to share what life lessons they have learned, please send me a message. I'd love to interview you. I think it's very important that we help one another. And one of the ways that I like to do this is through this YouTube channel. I hope that more people will join me, because I really want to inspire other people. That's why my channel is called Inspiring Bo. So I want to inspire people through my poetry, through my interviews, through my travels. Just coming to Paris, Ontario has been really wonderful and peaceful, because it's right near the river.
Yes.
And I'm known as a water baby, because as soon as I'm near the water, I'm really calm.
Yes.
So, I'd really appreciate people sharing my YouTube with other people. Please share and subscribe to my channel. And please contact me if you'd like to see something you'd want to hear me talk about, or if you have a story or life lessons to share with others. And I really appreciate you joining me. Have a great day, everyone, and hope you have a great Sunday evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.